Hello, friends, and welcome back to r/IDontWorkHereLady. This episode has 4 new stories waiting for us, and if you didn't know, some heroes don't wear capes. They're covered in grease, with soiled gloves in their pocket. Regular mistaken for employee. So a few years back, I worked in the tools section of a retail store, and we'd have this regular customer from a local mechanic shop come by probably every few weeks. This guy, who we'll call M, would come in covered in grease, soiled gloves in his pocket, and wearing a uniform of completely different colors from what our store. In short, there's really no way to mistake this guy as an employee. Anyways, M was always nice to me and my coworkers, but without fail, every time he came in, someone would ask him where something is or how to check the inventory for some item, and he seemed to really enjoy messing with people who did that. One day, I was working at the cash register, checking out items for M, and this lady comes in, and instead of talking to me, the employee behind the counter who could actually help her, she goes to him and demanded M help her find something or correct some issue. At the moment, I was looking down at the computer and actually started to respond, figuring she was talking to me, but was quickly shut down and ignored. This lady had no interest in me because I looked young and inexperienced probably. I was only 18 at the time. After a second of trying to get his attention, M just says no to this woman. Confused and infuriated, says, "Excuse me, what do you mean no?" To which M said, I'm not going to help you. I'm not interested in it." At this point, the lady's going ballistic. All attempts for me to try and tell her he doesn't work here fell on deaf ears. So she swore she would file a complaint about him and sue him legally. She asked to know his manager, and M, being the guy that he is, said go ahead, and even gave her his manager's name and his own. On a separate occasion, I watched as a guy again seeing me and goes to him and asks, "Can you help me find?" M just plainly says no. The guy had such a face of confusion and being dazed that I watched as he kind of walked out of the store as if he was defeated. I honestly think M broke the guy. He just seemed so lost after that comment. The customer did come back a few minutes later with renewed confidence, it seemed, and this time came to me, so I actually was able to help him. I'm not sure what it is about M that makes people think he works at the store, but I figure in some way M probably enjoys being able to give the responses all retail workers wish they could give to annoying customers. After all, it wasn't his shop, so he wasn't going to get in trouble, and it's not his fault our customers can't read his shirt, which had his auto shop's name embroidered on it. And our second story. No, I'm not asleep on the job, lady. I'm just regular asleep. I work as a videographer, filming kids' dance performances and making DVDs for the parents to buy. Maybe watch once, then store in the attic and never watch again. I have a tripod with a camera and a little table set up in the back row of seats in the theater with a DVR and a small monitor. I get the most work during dance competitions when they have 1 to 2 weeks of dance performances from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. It can get incredibly boring and tiring, as you can probably imagine. One day, I'd been working for about 5 days straight and was running very low on sleep. For me to legally be able to film the performances before each section starts, I have to get a signed form from any parents that want their child's performance filmed. So when I had a 4-hour section that none of the parents wanted filmed, I was super happy and decided to rest my head in my arms on my little table, waiting for the next section. I must have been asleep for about 20 or 30 minutes when I suddenly woke up to a theater full of dance moms turned around, staring at me and loudly whispering, "Wake up! Wake up!" I slowly rose my head, confused as hell, and locked eyes with one particularly angry dance mom. I should mention here that dance moms can be a fickle beast to deal with if you get anything wrong with their child's video. They're not a happy breed. When I locked eyes with this lady, she spat the sentence, "Wake the F up and do your job. My little girl has been on stage for 5 minutes waiting for you to turn the effing music and lights on." To which I appropriately replied, "This camera doesn't operate the lights and music. You might want to talk to the tech crew for that." And then I went back to sleep. A few minutes later, the tech crew must have sorted out their issues and the kid did her performance. After the section had finished, the angry mother came up to me and demanded that I give her a free DVD of her child's performance to apologize for the tech crew screw-up. still somehow blissfully unaware that I'm a private contractor, not affiliated with the theater or the tech crew. I decided it was too difficult to explain how dumb she was, so I gave her a blank DVD, apologized, and told her to enjoy watching back the performance again. I doubt she'll watch the bloody DVD anyway, nobody ever does. My favorite part is that her self-righteous attitude lets her believe that you have a copy already edited and burned immediately after the performance. It's her world. We're all just living in it. And our third story. I don't work here anymore, so F off. This happened a couple years ago. I'd worked in a cafe owned by my uncle for around 4 years, and sometime after leaving for a new job, I went for lunch with a college friend. We were sat down, and being a Sunday morning, there were a few hungover/drunken souls looking for a fry-up. A few people said hi, asked how I'd been, which was nice, but nothing invasive. Then I heard fingers clicking. Had I been on shift, I'd have immediately looked for the perpetrator and asked them to politely stop. But hey, didn't work there, so I didn't really take much notice, and there's a tap on my shoulder. I look around, curious but scowling because I know it's not someone I know, judging by the strength they pressed on with me. It's one of the drunk students. Conversation went as follows. Me: can I help you? Student: we're still waiting on X breakfast items. Go get them. Me: I don't actually work here anymore. I'm trying to enjoy my own breakfast. Maybe just wait quietly at your table. This didn't seem to make him happy, as he demanded I go and personally fetch his food, as he knew I worked there, as I'd spoken to customers, blah blah yada yada. By this time, my friend and I were a bit sick of being polite and felt empowered being in a familiar setting. Me: I don't know how else to say this. I don't work here anymore. I'm having breakfast. Leave us alone. S: get off your lazy arse. It'll take 2 minutes. By this time, my former colleagues had noticed, and one approached and tried to steer him away. But no, the drunken arse wanted me personally to be as skivvy, as he'd wasted a good couple of minutes harassing me. Me: listen, I don't work here anymore, and I've really tried to be polite, and it's got me nowhere, so F off, will you? This set him into a rage, cursing at me, and he was quickly escorted from the cafe by a few regulars I was pally with. Nothing exciting, but it's a little bit of justice. You can never win an argument with someone who's drunk or someone who's a butthole. And happy coincidence, this person was both. Next story. Crazy Karen screams at me in the middle of Walmart. So I work at a rent-to-own furniture store right down the road from a Walmart. So come payday, I usually go straight to Walmart after clicking out. Our uniforms are made up of black pants or jeans and various blue shirts. However, our shirts have the company logo embroidered on the top left near the collar. I've been mistaken for an employee a few times, but most people just laugh it off when I tell them I don't work for Walmart. Yesterday, though, this Karen wasn't having it. Last night, I was finishing up some last-minute Christmas/grocery shopping. I hung around in the electronics section for a little while waiting for an employee to come help me, as I've been interested in getting a new phone. But it's the holiday season, and they were absolutely swamped. No big deal. I go to push my cart, filled with a few presents and groceries, and I honestly just want to get out of there because the customer traffic is getting to be a little too much for me, thanks to my crippling social anxiety. I don't do crowds. I'm trying to gently push past this woman, but her and her cart are right in the middle of the aisle, taking up as much space as she possibly could, and I barely ding the corner of it. "Excuse you," she says, reeling back and regaining her balance as if I hit her with a brick. Sorry, I mumble, and I tried to push past her again. "I've been waiting here forever." She'd been waiting there maybe a minute. She certainly hadn't been there when I got there just a few minutes before. "There's a video game I need you to get for me." In case you don't know, Walmart keeps all their video games in locked glass cabinets, and you need an employee to unlock it for you so they can grab the video game and immediately bring you over to check out. Same for controllers, consoles, and accessories. I point to the logo on my shirt. I actually don't work here. I work at company name. The Karen sighed and tapped her foot. "I don't care if you're on break or whatever. Just get me video game." "I can't. I don't work here. You got to get an employee." "You are an employee," Karen says, getting louder. "No, I'm a customer, shopping, just like you. I'll be going now." I try once again to push past her. "I know the manager of this store, and they won't be happy to hear that their employee is being rather disobedient." This woman rammed her cart into mine to stop me from walking beside her. Instead, I try to turn around and leave that way. She's not having it. I demand to speak to your manager. I'm on the verge of crying at this point. I just want out of the situation. My manager's at home and I don't work here. I just want to check out and go home. This is what sets her off, and when the screaming begins. I just want video game for my son. It's for Christmas. Why do you want to ruin Christmas for me and my family? I'm sobbing now. I can't handle people raising their voice at me. I don't work here, I cry at her. Yes, you do. Get me video game. One of the employees in the electronics section finally gets through the line of people they were checking out and comes over to investigate. He looks at me, sobbing like a child, and then at Karen, and his shoulders slump like he knows what's going down. What seems to be the problem here? He asks me. I try my best to explain that this crazy B word is screaming at me and somehow thinks I'm an employee. But I'm blubbering and I can't get too many words out, so Karen takes it upon herself to tell the employee what happened. Your coworker here is being extremely rude. She's been cursing at me and slammed her cart into mine several times to get me to move. I asked her to get me a video game, but she told me to F off. No, I yell. That's really all I can manage to choke out. The employee looks at my shirt and sighs. Ma'am, this young lady doesn't work here. She's an employee at company name. Karen puts her hands on her hips and rolls her eyes so hard I thought they might roll on out of their sockets. I just need someone to get me a video game, for Christ's sake. The employee leans on my shopping cart. We're pretty busy over here. I don't know if you're aware, but Christmas is in 2 days. I'm sorry that we were unable to get to you in a timely manner, but being impatient isn't an excuse to verbally abuse other customers just because their shirts happen to be blue. You people are insufferable. I'll have you know that I'm friends with the manager and he'll be hearing about this. I'll be taking my business to GameStop. She starts to walk away, and I think that's the end of it. But no. For her finale, Karen pushes her cart over, sending everything that was in it skidding and sliding across the floor. She stormed off, like Karens do, but not before the employee could wish her a happy holiday. I thanked the employee as soon as I could get the tears to stop flowing, and I checked out as fast as I could. The lesson learned? Not to go to Walmart under any circumstances during the holidays. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video to the end, and I'll see you in the next one.